Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me Robert. Why you do that, McCall?
I didn't do it.
But you did it.
I did not
But
do
you
it.
did.
I don't think I did it.
Okay, so we'll debate that later. We are back here with our third Disc Golf Answer Man while we are doing it down in the McCall's basement. We had some audio issues for our YouTubers. We apologize.
This is something new for us. We haven't had audio issues very much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's something new. So, no. So Eric McCabe is not online. We had some audio issues with him. But hopefully later on, we'll be able to have our Disc Golf Hot Takes and after show with Anthony and Danny, who are also working from home. And I really wish I could tell you guys because they worked on some videos, and I have to do my part still. It's going to be so funny.
Yes.
And we had a collaboration between myself and the retail store and Danny and Anthony and Tina and Eric Oakley, and that should be out later. It might be later today or early in the morning. Probably later today, but it's kind of ready, so I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Yeah.
So we're back with Disc Golf Fans. We're going to answer your disc golf questions. We're still held up in our houses, guys. I hope you are protecting. Why am I looking outside and not the camera?
You should look at the camera.
I probably should look at the camera. I hope you guys are staying safe out there, practicing your social distancing, but also getting out by yourselves or with your family members, getting outside so you don't get a little stir crazy while being inside. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to keep it real.
I'm ready.
I have been a little stir crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just, I mean, it's just
And
like
all right, so here's full disclosure for you, the disc golf audience, and you know this about me, but like, all right, so I'm an introvert, right? I enjoy people, but I need time to recharge. So working at home should be like kind of an ideal situation for me because I can just do whatever, and then at the end of the day, once I'm done working, I'm ready to hang with people and see people. Like, it should be pretty ideal, but like not being able to leave really at all. I mean, we went to a meat market to get meat. That was the last time we've left in quite a while.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say I'm definitely getting stir crazy.
I been ordering out a couple times, and like last night I ordered Radius, and I left like 30 minutes before I knew I needed to, just to cruise around.
Yeah, just to live.
Sebastian was cruising around with me, enjoying some of the sights, and yeah. By the way, the Radius Brewery, I got a sandwich and some wings. It was good.
That sounds good.
It was very good. I got the chicken bacon avocado sandwich. So good. Oh, and then they call it, I think they're flash fried Brussels sprouts.
Yes, that's right.
Magnifique.
Quick super chat from Westy Westmoreland, $3.99. He says differences between ground action on right hand forehand and left hand backhand. From what I understand, not much of a difference. I think with maybe little minute differences, they're pretty much the same shot. At least very close, from what I understand. I know that Danny did a forehand versus backhand comparison, so go and check that out on Physics of Flight on YouTube, and you might see a little bit different spin rates. But I would assume that the forehand spins a little bit less, but you're gonna have to go check it out for yourself.
Yeah, cool
to see.
All right, well, let's hop into the questions, guys. We're going to be able to do SpeakPipe and the forms. We have not a whole lot of SpeakPipe, but we have some.
This is important. Captain Moistbeard said the Carol virus, it's all her fault. Check under the septic tank. Oh, Tiger King, it's real, guys.
It's real.
It's real.
Have you guys watched? Give me a shout out in the chat if you have watched Tiger King. It seems to be the rave on social media, and people are starting to hate it.
True,
because it's all over the place. We're on episode 3. Have you guys watched any of it without me?
I've watched 3.
So we're all we've all watched through episode 3. Maybe tonight would be a night to watch another episode. Also, I've been watching. Oh, we'll talk about this on the after show because I want to talk about some of the shows that we've been watching. Last week we talked about what have you been doing, but I think now we'll talk about shows. And then I thought it'd be interesting to find out because we were talking earlier about how we're eating in a lot more than usual, not eating out. So yeah, so we'll talk about that on the after show. Some of the effects, the indirect effects or the unintended effects of staying at home all the time. All right, well, let's jump into the questions. Guys, remember, as always, go to discgolfanswerman.com. Submit your disc golf questions. Some changes are coming to the website. I'm working on that with Clay, but I'll let you guys know a little bit more when we get closer to the time. But we're trying to maybe integrate the dynamicdisc.com website and the DGAM website just a little bit. So that'll be coming your way here in a while. Let's see. This first question is from Tad. This is on Power Grip for smaller hands. I watched Danny's video he recently posted on the top 5 tips for better backhands. Real quick, sorry guys. Go to our YouTube channel. I know you're watching, so you're probably subscribed. But Danny has been putting out some excellent. We're calling it beginner's guide, where it's really breaking it down, different aspects of disc golf game, and people are really liking it. They're real popular, so it's really good stuff. So anyway, the top 5 tips for better backhands, and found that my forefingers tucked into the rim was causing a nose up throw. However,
we did this last week.
We did this last week. So you do not, you have to pay extra if you want your question answered twice. Let's go to Jordan. This is on the Vandal. When will we see production run of the Vandals, specifically Biofusion?
I don't think we have bio ones coming in the next little bit. We will probably see some stock Vandals this year, but I don't know if I can say when.
Do you know when? You just not being able to say it?
I mean, I have an idea, but everything's a little bit crazy right now because of coronavirus and what's shipping and what's not. So for the time being, let's say that it's something that we've talked about this year. I cannot say for sure whether or not that will happen. Biofusion, probably not, but that's a guess.
Next one is from Jeremy on Grip Change. Hey guys, I'm a recent subscriber to the podcast, but have been golfing for a long time. Thank you so much for subscribing, Jeremy. 17 years to be exact. I consider myself a B-level pro with a rating around 1005 to 1010.
Me too. I'm sick. That's pretty solid, man.
Yeah, you're B level.
Oh, I would take that. Most people would say quite a bit lower. So,
due to work and family, I said doo-doo. Due to work and family, I don't really play tournaments anymore, but get in casual rounds when I can. I typically throw around 420 to 430 with a 2-finger power grip, right hand, backhand, but like all of us would love more distance. Recently, I've been experimenting with 3 and even 4-finger grips, as this is what I know a lot of the elite guys use to maximize distance. My question is, this late into the game, have you heard or know of any players seeing significant changes to distance and or accuracy by switching to grips like this? Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Good question, Jeremy. And congrats on being over 1,000 rated. That's awesome. I don't have any specific stories to say that, yes, I know that this person changed their grip and as a result changed their distance or their accuracy. But grip is one of those things that is pretty personal. That's personal, not like I don't want to tell anybody about it, but it's different from.
He puts it in his diary and doesn't show anybody.
Don't look under the disc. I don't want you to see how many fingers I'm holding under the disc. No, it's just kind of individual from person to person. I know there's a ton of people that throw 4 fingers underneath. I throw 3 fingers underneath when I'm throwing a power grip. So I think it's worth messing around with. I would say the logic of it, at least that I would think, is that you probably would get more distance using fewer fingers under the disc. But I'm not sure I have a good reason to support that. It feels like because there's less places where the disc can come off of if you don't have your pinky and ring finger under there, then there's a lot better chance that you can impart spin on the disc because you're not held up by 2 extra fingers. But that's 100% totally a guess. It would be something for you to try out for yourself, definitely. But I would encourage it if you're not happy with how far you're throwing or how accurately you're throwing. Take your form apart bit by bit and see if grip is one of those things.
Yeah, I've been utilizing a new 8-finger grip. I'll let you figure that out. Next one comes from Hunter.
It's 2 hands.
2 hands, yeah. I just kind of like a granny shot with the basketball or granny bowling.
Yeah. Your distance has drastically decreased, but accuracy
is out of this world.
Chest pass.
Hunter asks, "Hey, Disc Golf Answerman crew, I was curious if there was anything to be, if there was going to be another run of special edition anvils or BT hybrid anvils. I love the anvil as an approach disc and love the feel of those plastics, but can't find them anywhere. If you guys can give me any insight, that would be great. Thanks, guys, and keep it real."
As of right now, we don't have BT hybrid anvils on the stock list, and special edition are usually just the first ones that go out to retailers. So, in my opinion, if you're asking for me to tell the future, I do not think that we'll make those again. Yeah.
Oh, what's it from Conan? In the year 2000.
Yeah, solid. We got a super chat from Disc Golf Coolness, $2. He says, "What's your honest opinion of best basket ever made?"
Honest opinions are $3. This will be dishonest for $2.
I will give you my dishonest opinion.
Yes.
This is real honest opinion, Disc Golf Coolness. As long as we're talking like the top basket of each company, you know, the Innova Disc Catcher 28, the Chain Star, the Mach X, the Veteran. What is Latitude's? The Elite?
Elite Pro. No,
Yeah.
Is it the Elite Pro?
Whatever it is. I like all companies' top baskets pretty similarly. As long as they're not a little bit older design with fewer chains or like with no interchains, then yeah, I'm pretty good with all the companies' top baskets.
Yeah, Latitude's for pro basket competition.
I think that's like our Patriot.
I am incorrect.
We
must be sold out of their.
Yeah, that's
Elite Pro.
that's
it's got
their
the smaller
Patriot.
band for
Yep.
sure. All right, let's try a speak pipe real quick.
What's up, Bobby? Cool Daddy totally redeemed himself with that hot take last week.
Yes, I did.
Breeze. And Robert maintains his perfect hair even in a crisis. McCall. This is Shay from Philly with a question about provisional throws. My question is, are there any scenarios where I can't take a provisional? For example, I'm in a tournament and I throw a terrible tee shot that may have gone OB, and even if it's still in balance, it may be in such a terrible spot, I may elect to abandon the throw and re-tee. Is it all right for me to just throw a provisional off the tee pad again before we go to inspect the disc? Basically, for the sake of rate of play and saving myself the walk back to the tee, and use it or abandon it depending on the status of my disc that I don't know. Thank you for the info, and hopefully, for not for always, keep it socially distant.
Yeah, hopefully so.
All right, so
it feels like we've been here forever. This is like we're coming up on 3 weeks where we've been working at home, but it feels way longer than that.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Doug earlier today, and he was like, we were kind of just talking about how it's crazy how this has been long, how long this has been. I said, yeah, I'm setting up Disc Golf Ansman right now, and it feels like this is now the new norm.
Yeah, this is it.
Because this is my third time setting everything back up.
We're basically going to be here forever.
Please no.
Forever.
All right, so we pulled up on the website PDGA Rule 809.02, which is provisional throw, so that we make sure we get it correct.
Yeah, letter B is the pertinent part. It says provisional throws are used, 1, to save time. A player may declare a provisional throw at any time. And then it says A, the status of a disc may not be readily determined and may be lost out of bounds or have missed a mandatory. Or B, the group agrees that a provisional throw may save time. So I think that answers your question there, Shay. I haven't seen that happen a whole lot. Most of the time you go up and assess the situation, and then if you decide it's going to be a re-tee, then you come back to the box. But I do think that would be an appropriate use of a provisional. And we also have a super chat from Ace Run Productions coming in hot, $19.99. Thank you so much, Ace Run. We appreciate that. He said, thanks for keeping the show going. A welcome distraction every week from what's going on in the world. We appreciate you guys. Man, we appreciate you, truly. Any of you guys that tune in, whether you super chat, whether you comment, whether you just listen, we really appreciate the interaction. Like Bobby said, yeah, things are weird right now, and it's easy to get stir crazy. And so to have a little bit of normalcy, I look forward to Disc Golf Answerman every week for that reason, because it's like this is what we do on Tuesdays.
Yes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Another way you can show your appreciation, and we love it, is to give us a thumbs up and to share it. Share it out with your friends. They may be sitting at home wishing they could have a distraction from what's going on, and hopefully the Disc Golf Answerman can be a welcome distraction.
Yes.
Next one comes from, let's go with Austin. Oh, yep.
Just to address for those of you who are tuning into the video for the first time, Trevor, Bobby and I live in this house together.
Are they saying it again?
My wife is upstairs. The three of us live in our house. Bobby has his own area down here, but we use the same kitchen. We're around each other a lot. This is what it comes down to. If one of us has it, all of us have it.
Right. So it's not as though we're not practicing social distancing, because the actual shelter in place actually states that if you go out, go for a walk, but only with people that are in your household, which applies here.
Yes.
This one's from Austin. He needs some clarification. I have been playing off and on for around 10 years. Started throwing kind of consistently in the last 2 years and really been focusing on form and throwing better for the last month or two. I have really been enjoying all the content. Listened to probably 150 episodes in the last month or so.
It's probably more than I've listened to ever.
Probably. On the call with Robert has been a huge help to my mental game.
Nice.
So as far as my question is concerned, I have disked down to throwing nothing but putters and mid-ranges while doing field work in order to slow down and work on timing. I can throw a Judge and an EMAC Truth on pretty much full power and get close to 300 feet on my best drive. At what point should I start practicing throwing my drivers again? I don't want to jump back into throwing drivers too soon and cause my timing to get way off. Thanks for your help.
Okay. I think if you start to develop a little bit more and you've backed off of drivers and you're starting to see the types of distances that you would like to see with your putters and mid-ranges, that's cool. More important than the distances, though, is the way the disc comes out of your hand. If the disc is coming out smooth, if you're able to hit the angles that you want to, and you're getting those kind of consistent flights, then I don't think it's a bad idea to pick your fairway drivers back up again and start messing around with those. Here's the thing. You don't really have to throw fairway drivers harder than you'd throw a mid-range to get them to do what they need to do, right? If you're throwing an EMAC Truth 300 feet and you're throwing an Escape, if you throw those the same, the Escape's going to go farther. It's intended to do that. So don't think about when you're throwing a wider rim disc that you have to throw so much harder. Just keep that same smooth form and accelerate. I think you'll be surprised with the results that you get when not trying to throw as hard as you can.
All right, next one. Let's go back to Speak Pipe. This is from Don. That's how he put it in the thing. Two lowercase Dons and then one uppercase.
What's up, Answer Man? I had a question about the national and or pro tour schedule. So before the year, they made a couple changes to the schedule, like eliminating Vegas, adding Texas states to the national tour, as well as eliminating the Hall of Fame and adding the Music City Open to the schedule. So if I had the ability, I would keep the Hall of Fame Classic. I think it's fun to watch, great course, and I would add a tournament on the Harmony Bends course to the national tour, and I would also add maybe the Majestic at Blue Ribbon Pines to the national or the pro tour if I had the ability. So I was just curious if you had the ability to make 2 or 3 changes to the national or pro tour schedule, what would your choices be?
I would probably add a 3-round Hammond Park.
That's a very bad idea.
It's a short course, 9 holes. Probably the longest hole is 2. There's
one that's right around 300 feet.
300. Everything's around 250. So I think that would be amazing. We'd have a lot of high scores.
Don't listen to them. Never. In case you didn't know already, just don't. As far as the best courses in the U.S., the one that I would love to cover that you said, I guess 2, Harmony Bends. I haven't been out there. From what I've watched, it looks incredible. I can't wait till I get to go play it. And then Blue Ribbon Pines is just a beautiful course. Let me know if you're with me on this. Okay, Billy Crump a while ago used to make Clash videos. Right?
Yep.
And they shot one at Blue Ribbon Pines with Kale LaVisca and Nicola Castro against Barry Schultz and Ken Climo, kind of old school versus new school. And I wore that DVD out. I cannot even tell you how many times I watched it. It was awesome.
Really?
Yes. So I love that course. Outside of the ones that you mentioned, there are 2 courses that I would love to see players get tested on. One is Roy G. Guerrero in Austin. No, Roy G. Guerrero.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Is a person. That's a park down in Austin. It's just east of downtown, and it is the coolest. One of my favorite courses that I've ever played. Certainly worth checking out if you're in the area. I think it plays as a par 61. I've seen Bradley Williams shoot a 51, and that's unbelievable. Anything in the mid-50s is you're playing pretty well. And then the other one, this is extremely impractical, but Disc Golf Terminalen over in Skellefteå, Sweden.
Yeah.
That is probably my favorite course I've played anywhere. Just beautiful, fair, difficult, manicured fairways, fair gaps. It's super cool. So yeah, impractical, but I'd love to see that one have some more top pros on it.
I'm ready to go back.
Oh yeah, I'm about it.
It's been 3 years, 4 years last time. We'd even debated if we were going to the tourney and decided not to this year, but it should be fun to go back next year. All right, Jake from Cleveland asks about overhand putter shots and the best disc for them. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew, I've got 2 questions. A little background. I come from the ultimate Frisbee background, so I got to really enjoy throwing an overhand shot. So my first question is, if I'm looking to throw an overhand putter shot that pans out and glides to the right for a right-handed thrower about 100 to 150 feet, do I want an understable or an overstable putter? Second, which trilogy putter in the premium plastic would be best for that shot?
I think if you're throwing it only 100 or 150 feet, you probably don't have to worry about stability that much. Having that said, I think you'd want something not on the understable side. That'd probably be too easy to flip over too fast and maybe even try to come back to the left. So I would say you probably want something in a premium plastic, just so that it would, if you want it to slide when it hits the ground, you'd look for a premium plastic. If you want it to sit, you'd probably go for a soft or a blend. And the putters that we make that would fit in that category are like the Marshall, the Judge, the Warden. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. And that's not really a shot that we've messed with a whole lot. I know I've seen Brody Smith throw a few of them now, which is pretty cool. But if you're coming from Ultimate and you feel comfortable with that shot, those are the discs I would try out at this point.
All right, let's see what we got from Speak Pipe. Friendly Neighborhood Max.
What's up, DGAM crew? Bobby and Robert, hope you guys haven't torn each other to shreds in this nice quarantine. But I have a quick question for you guys. So, my dad throws the Boatman and the Escape as his 2 kind of long-range discs. I think right now his max distance is close to probably 375 if I had to put a number on it. Sweet. And I was looking for something that's a little less stable than Boatman. The Boatman's 11502 if you don't know the numbers. And it flies kind of more of an overstable shot for him. And I was looking to see if he could find something to fill that gap as kind of more of a faster Maverick or a faster Explorer. And I know that you have like the Renegade and things like that, but I think the Renegade might be a slightly too understable for him, because he can sometimes torque it, but I'll leave it out as an option, of course. I also noticed the Latitude Flow is an option too. Maybe the Escape that fills in that gap, but just what could be his longer, straighter disc that's not too overstable, but it's not going to be too flippy. If you guys have any ideas, that'd be great. Appreciate all the feedback on what you guys do. Stay sweet.
I got you. So if you're asking for a longer Maverick, then the Escape is your answer. I think those discs are pretty similar in stability. The Escape might be a little bit more understable, but because it's a little bit faster, I think it makes up for that just a little bit. But the other one that you didn't mention that I think would certainly be worth checking out is the Latitude 64 Musket. I've heard the Gold Line ones are a little bit more overstable, just slightly overstable. But the Opto ones that we were using for the Trilogy Challenge last year were fantastic. Really super straight, maybe a little bit of turn and then a little bit of fade as well. But those are the 2 discs that I would recommend. If you're looking for a faster Maverick, I think the Escape is a great choice. And it's a 9-speed disc, but it flies very far. And then the Musket is a 10-speed. I think it would be slightly less overstable than the Boatman, but still good stability for what you need.
All right, next one comes from Dax. He says, I've been playing for a long time, but never seriously, so I'm pretty average. I prefer a bag with more versions of fewer molds as compared to a bunch of different molds. I've always thrown Innova discs and throw a Wraith 350 to 375. My buddy recently said, hey, try this Prodigy D2. It flew beautifully. Should I grab a bunch of those, limited budget, and add them, or do you guys feel it's better to keep working on my Wraith game because they are so similar? He has a hot take idea. Oh, we might have to jump to my... No, we're going to see... let me message... I'm sorry. Side brain note. Sorry about that, folks. It would be more fun watching the pros play... Oh, well, let's answer his question first on the Wraith. So, he has a disc that he really loves. right? And someone says, oh, you should try this from another manufacturer because it flies pretty much the same, and he loves the way it throws. Should he now take and now throw the new one, or keep his trusted old disc that he loves?
Okay. Dax, I'm going to keep it real.
Oh, here we go. I wish I had a keep it real effect.
Yeah.
Of course, for Robert, it would just be the same thing.
Yeah. It's just my voice.
Right,
Keep it real. Here's a phenomenon that happens in disc golf. I've seen it happen in golf since I started playing, but I think that it happens in a lot of sports that are equipment heavy. There is a such thing as a honeymoon phase where...
Say it. Oh, honeymoon phase.
Yeah, honeymoon phase, where someone's like, hey, you should try this out. And the first time you throw it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is the best disc that was ever made. In the history of discs, I should get 20 of them. I think a lot of people think like that. One of the problems with that is a lot of times when you are trying out a new disc, you don't really have any expectations. So you clear your mind, you smooth out your form, you throw it really well, and it does exactly what you want to. And that's cool, but that's not always the case. It won't always be like that necessarily. Now, if you found a disc that fits for you, like you said, if the Wraith works for you, and you know that that's tried and true, I probably wouldn't get rid of that unless you were forced to by like a manufacturer sponsor or something like that. I would probably mess around with one D2 and just see how you like that even after your first several throws. If you're looking for something from our lineup to try out, I think the Trespass is a good disc to try out on that spot, or even the Latitude 64 Flow. The Flow is an extremely underrated driver in my opinion. Really super straight, goes farther than it should. But at the end of the day, you need to throw what works for you. And if that's something new, cool, try it out. But don't be fooled by the honeymoon phase, because I've had it happen before where I threw a disc once and I was like, that's it, this is my new favorite driver. And it didn't need to be, you know? I should have stuck with what I knew.
I'm like that with cheesecake.
This is my new favorite cheesecake.
This is my favorite cheesecake. And then
I'll buy all of them.
And I miss... That's what I'm scared of at Torchy's. When we don't go there and it's been a while and I don't get my trailer park, I'm scared that I'll
you've
miss
made a
it.
mistake.
Yeah. All right, so his hot take idea, which would be interesting to, we won't talk about it obviously now because we're on Disc Golf Anchorman. He said it would be more fun watching the pros play different courses every year for variety's sake. Hot take is it is so fun to watch the pros play on courses I'm familiar with from watching in the past.
Yeah,
that's an interesting take on.
Yeah, so basically saying like, all right, we played the Memorial this year, so we're not going to go back to Phoenix this year. Instead, we'll do a new event in California or something like that.
Yeah. Next question comes from Taylor. Uses for old discs. Some of my discs are getting in bad shape, even to the point of being unthrowable. I really don't want to just put them in storage. What are some of the uses or upcycling ideas for old, worn-out discs? Right now, my first suggestion is there are a lot of schools that are looking for equipment to give to kids, to give them something to do. I would say find yourself a local school or some place where you can ship your discs, and I bet you that school will take it. And that's just another cool way to expose kids to disc golf. Yeah, that would be something I would look into.
Yeah, I was going to say Boys and Girls Club, so same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've seen people make clocks out of them. You really only need to do that with one.
Some of them have 25 clocks on their wall. I needed something to do with all the discs, man.
Disc golf is like time, you know, because like
you could be like a newsroom and have like China, New York, and all the
good idea. Good idea.
You could have Chicago,
dude,
Dallas,
where the manufacturers are,
Oklahoma, Kansas, all the different times.
Imagine they're all the same.
They're all the same.
These are all central. Yeah. But they're different. But this one's for Dallas.
Yes, my cousin is in Dallas, and I want to know what time it is when I call him.
True.
Okay, this is from AP. As a newer player with a basketball background, I have problems throwing a forearm without turning it over. I keep wanting to turn my hand over like I'm throwing a baseball. Do you have any tips to help break this habit?
Sorry, super fast. I want to put this in. Eagles Wings is always looking for donations for discs to go over to Zambia. Thank you guys for the suggestion. Sorry about that.
Eagle. What's their way? Just search Eagles Wings Disc Golf on either Facebook or Google. You'll be able to find.
For sure. I apologize for interrupting.
Right. Back to AP. Let me start over. As a new player with a baseball background, I have problems throwing a forearm without
Forearm.
Don't forearm yourself. Forearm without turning it over. I keep wanting to turn my hand over like I'm throwing a baseball. Do you have any tips to break this habit? Thank you, and keep doing the Lord's work. I would say hook yourself up to some electricity. Every time you do it, hit the power. Boom, and I bet you'll stop.
Yeah.
Or you could try what Robert was going to suggest.
I was going to go with Pavlovian stuff.
Like, okay, the same thing.
Yeah. Negative responses.
Hit yourself right in the...
Ow! Don't do that. Okay, fine. No, I would say one of the things that you need to think about, especially as a baseball player, is you're used to your follow-through being down toward the ground, right? So when you bring your arm back, you bring it through, or even if you're a sidearm pitcher, you're kind of you're rolling your hand toward the ground, right? So you almost need to think of this as a different finishing to your shot, right? So you can use a lot of the same biomechanic stuff that you would use to throw a baseball, but instead of putting the pads of your fingers up against the underside of the rim, try and turn your fingers so that they're facing the rim. It's going to be a little bit weird at first, but as you do that and the pads of your finger are against the rim, that makes it, at least for me, a little bit easier to feel like I can keep my hand flat or even slightly palm up, as opposed to trying to roll them over. Because when they're pointed up, your natural motion wants to just roll that hand over to get that throw out of there. So tuck those fingers into the rim, facing the rim, pads on the rim, and see if you can't, like slapping somebody across the face. I know that you guys don't do that, nor would you ever. But if you can imagine slapping someone, it'd be like that.
All right, let's jump on over back to Speak Pipe. This one's from Josh.
Hey guys, just wanted to start off by saying thank you for continuing the podcast. It's a good escape from working from home, and it's great in these dark disc golf times. Anyway, wanted to ask, how often does everyone refresh their putting putters? Do you go a full season, 2 seasons? I just ask because I know they're probably the more likely disc to get worn down the fastest because of the soft plastic and hitting metal all the time. So hopefully hitting metal all the time. So just wondering, how often do you guys go for some new discs? I mean, maybe stick with the same Warden or Deputy or whatever, but refresh the actual disc itself to something newer. So just check in and see what you guys think on that. And thank you, and keep it real.
Thanks for the question, Josh. That depends on the person that you're talking to. We've talked about this a little bit on the show, but Eric McCabe likes to have pretty much a fresh pair of putters. Not every time he goes out, but
every time he walks out the door.
He cycles them often. Maybe once every couple weeks, once every month or something like that. I've used the same primary putting putter for probably 3-ish years now, maybe 4. I've rotated out the backup one somewhat more frequently than that, but I've got a lot of trust with it. My number one, it's a first run classic Warden. So I've just been using that for a while. How often do you switch yours up?
My putters?
Yeah.
Not often at all.
Yeah.
The last time I switched them was only because Latitude 64 Factory was doing some special where they could stamp, custom stamp your name on it, and so I ordered a couple that said Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and they were a pink and a red sweet burst, and I've used those forever. I still have some of my old Paige Pierce deputies and some other Trilogy Challenge deputies that I use when I practice putting, but as far as going out and playing, I still use those 2 Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
You just got burned on the chat. Captain Moistbeard said Bobby puts with premium plastic. Dude, in your face.
Wow.
That's about the worst thing that you could do.
Yeah. Ban him.
No.
Just kidding.
I promote him.
You promote him. I promote you to Admiral.
Yeah. But
Moistbeard.
I think the more often that you putt with your putters, the more likely you are to need to replace them faster, especially if they get to where you can't trust them in the wind.
Did you say how many first runs you actually have?
I counted the other day. I think at the house I have 18 or 19.
Oh, so you have plenty for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
AJ has 4 of them. I guess they're his now, but really, we know whose they are. I basically own all the first run wards. Anyway, but for the people who putt more often and then you can't trust that putter in the wind, if there's a little bit of headwind and it moves to the right or lifts more than you're used to, then I think switching them out makes sense at that point.
Cool. All right, next one comes from John. Where do I send a video of my throw form to get critiques? Yes, perfect segue. So Danny does a really good job at breaking down people's form. And we have a email address called DGAMform@gmail.com where you can send in your form. He'll look them over, record his voiceover take on them, and he'll post them to the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. So there you go, John. Send it to DGAM, DGAM form @gmail.com. That's just another service that we bring you from Dynamic Discs and Disc Golf Answer Man.
And it's available right now as long as you can throw right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could go out to a field, practice social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about more on the after show, but I have a little bit of a beef.
I'm ready.
With people. All right, Shay wants to know, where do you draw the line for practice? Hey, Disc Golf Answer crew. I'm writing to ask what are your personal limits with regards to practice? It rained all day today, but the sun finally appeared around 4, my usual practice time. So I grabbed the box of practice putters and went outside. Sadly, I was greeted by 20-mile-an-hour winds that were gusting. Try coming here when it's... Is he okay? That was Sebastian.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was one of his little gasps. Anyway, try coming to Kansas and doing it at 45-mile-an-hour gusts. Anyway, and along with consistently missing from beyond that mark was mentally taxing. I also noticed my form was degrading as I was trying to really spin the disc through the wind. Are there conditions where you think it's more detrimental than beneficial to practice?
Yeah, I think the ones that you described would be more detrimental than beneficial.
Yeah,
at least for me.
Yeah, to me, practice. Okay, so just getting out there and throwing, that's okay. It's a good thing. Just go out and throw. Relax, whatever. But if you really want to practice, your practice has to be intentional. That's why, like in football, soccer, whatever you played, you had intentional practices. You had certain drills you did over and over again, and your coach had a plan for you, and he had a reason for that. So, yeah, if you're out there and you're just mucking it up because the wind's terrible or you just don't feel right or something like that, and you can't quite push through it, then that practice may not be very beneficial at all.
Sure. I would say if you're not excited to be out there, if you don't go out ready to work, it's hard to get the most out of your practice.
All right.
Right? Just spill that on yourself.
My water just attacked me.
Nice. It is beneficial to practice in the wind so that when you get into that tournament setting, you know what your discs are going to do. But if it's just going to be miserable and you're not going to enjoy yourself, I don't think it's worth spending that half hour just to, like you kind of said, deteriorate your form a little bit or digress to maybe what you used to do. I don't think it's worth that. I do think it's worth, if you're going to say, all right, look, today sucks outside, but I need to get some practice in. I'm going to go spend 20 minutes. I'm going to be dedicated, and I'm going to be done, and I'm going to, eat some ice cream after, or like give myself a treat of some type. Something like that. Good point.
I'm getting hungry for cheesecake.
Yeah, I'm about the cheesecake. As long as you have that mentality, I think it's good. If you go out dreading it, you're probably going to dread it while you're there too.
Something else now, it's not totally on, but this is something that I've seen people post on Facebook, and this has to do, and this is if you're like, you really want to become better at disc golf. If you're just like happy with it progressing, this is fine. But if you're like, I really want to go on tour, I want to become a pro, and we're talking about getting out there, and the word that comes to my mind is being motivated to practice, right? Yeah. Okay, there's a difference between motivation and discipline, correct? And I've read this in a book, and I just think it just speaks to me so well, especially when my alarm goes off at 4:30. Of course, lately it's been going off at like 6:30, since I don't have to like get ready and go anywhere. Right. But anyway, getting up in the morning, I tell myself, I'm not motivated. Well, that's not. If you want to get from point A to point B, there are certain steps you have to take. There's certain disciplines you have to do. And so you have to be disciplined to get out and practice, even when you're not motivated to practice. Anyway, I just thought I read that in a book. I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I dig that. As we're talking about practicing, one thing that you can do during the quarantine, this is something that I think is really cool on Facebook, is the disc golf putting game. It's the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge. If you search that on Facebook, basically what you do is go out in your backyard out to the course. If you can do so inside, do that. Obviously, like we said, make sure that you are practicing social distancing. But go to 20 feet, mark it off with a tape measure, and start putting, and putt till you miss from 20 feet. And there's different divisions that you can enter. We are into the second week. I believe it's the second week of submissions here. So yeah, go check it out. We've seen people put up crazy numbers, into the 40s, 50s, 60s. We've also seen some people miss their very first one, and that's how it goes sometimes. So it's just a cool thing that you can do. If you are under a shelter-in-place order, you can do it in your backyard, in your house, wherever you'd like to. So
yeah, a lot of people sponsoring it, including us. We have some discs that we're going to be giving away, so make sure you get in there and participate. Let's see. Yeah, we've got time for some more. This one's from Tommy. He says, same flight number issues. Do you better players ever notice a difference in discs with the same flight numbers? Example, the Raider and the Halo have the same flight numbers, but for me, the Raider seems a little more overstable than the Halo. I can throw the Halo a little farther with a little more understable flight. Just wondering if this happens to you pros. So I'm not a pro, but this is why I beat the dead horse of don't use the flight numbers as strict guidelines or the Bible of disc golf, because this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to look at a disc, and you're going to see the flight numbers, and someone's go, oh, you should try this disc. And you go, oh, those are the same flight numbers. I don't need that disc. I don't need it. Nah, I'm good. No, you need to try, because there's going to be a different feel, and obviously there could be some different in the flight.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, yeah. I guess I am a pro. Your heart.
Your heart!
Yeah.
Number one in your hearts. Rated
820. What am I? I don't even know what I'm rated.
8 something.
Anyway,
in your books.
Next one's from Barry and Speak Pipe.
I have a
K2
Barry. Octo G Infinite Disc VIP Series Latitude 64 with a Viking on it. I'd like to know the flight numbers, please. Thank you.
So if you couldn't hear that, he said he had a Latitude 64 disc with a Viking on it.
Yeah.
And he would like to know the flight numbers.
Apropos.
I
legitimately thought you were going to say, in case you didn't hear that, neither did we.
Oh, yeah.
And I was ready for it. I was totally ready for it.
I kind of heard it.
Very unfortunately, without knowing the name of the disc.
Yeah, the Viking could be just a custom stamp.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, it's hard
to say for sure. We don't have a disc called the Viking, for sure. So without knowing the stamp, or without knowing the disc, we can't really...
Yeah, if that sounds familiar to anybody, put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can figure it out. So, sorry, what was the guy's name again? Barry. Sorry, Barry. Okay, let's go to Max.
What is up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? Now, I have a quick question for you guys about form. On my backhand drives, I can throw about 450 pretty consistently in a good grouping, 472 on a good rip. And before Eric or someone throws out, that's internet distance, not actual distance. Nope, that's about what I can throw, actual distance, not just internet.
Video or it didn't happen. Put a video on Facebook.
Prove it.
It's not that I don't believe you, but video or it didn't happen. We want to see it.
But I've found on my form that my bracing is really not that great. And after watching some recordings, I rotate more off kind of toward the ball of my foot or my toes, which doesn't help me leave my balance. And I tend to kind of walk through it a little bit towards the end. And I don't know if you guys had any tips on how to do it more towards close to the heel, as I've seen Danny teach in the physics of flight. Yeah, it's just for some reason that's just not clicking with me. And any little bit of advice, whether that be the way I stand, lean back a little more, weight distribution, that'd be great. I also can just send Danny my form too, because I know you guys are doing that right now. But any help would be great. Thank you again for all that you do. Hopefully the quarantine isn't driving you too nuts.
It is.
Appreciate it, guys. Stay sweet. Peace.
It is driving us nuts. Thank you for asking.
Peanuts.
Regular nuts.
Yes.
So, yes, the number one thing I would suggest is to send your form over to Danny at dgamform@gmail.com. He can break it down for you. But one of the things that I would suggest if you're struggling with rotating on your heel is making sure that when you approach the front of the tee box that you're offsetting your front foot in front of your back foot a little bit. So by in front, I mean, say if I'm facing the camera right now and my feet are shoulder width apart, when I'm throwing, I would want my right foot to be, maybe where the heel is in line with my toe, with the toes of my left foot. So you're going to, when you're throwing, it's almost as if you're approaching like from the back right of the tee box to the front left, and you plant your feet that way. Try that. Don't approach from the back right to the front left, but think about offsetting your feet just a little bit. That's going to get your body in a little bit better spot, so that brace is going to keep your heel down. Without you being able to see this right now, it's kind of difficult to explain. But if you look at people who do this well, Simon Lizotte does this super duper well. He gets that front foot out just in front enough, and that makes a big difference. But yeah, send your form over to Danny at dgamform@gmail.com, and he can help you out.
Gotcha. One last speak pipe. Here we go from Sean.
Hey, Disc Golf Master, man. This is Sean from New Jersey. So I have an important question for you guys. So I've been playing for 3 years this May, and I plateaued for the past, all winter and coming into this season. And in fact, parts of my game have even gotten worse. My backhand, for some reason, this flails out of my hand, and I'm perpetually going on hyzer. I'm even lost distance. I've gone from averaging 270, 280 to 220, 230. And it's just a little discouraging after 3 years of being in the sport, and I'm still solidly a bottom-tier MA3 player. So I'm curious, have you guys ever had the same experience where you felt so discouraged you want to quit the sport because you either plateaued or for some reason you started getting worse at the sport? And what did you use to keep going and to eventually get as good as you are now? So I could really use some tips, and thank you for all that you do. Bye.
Is it safe to say, and all things being equal, all things as far as your health, you know what I'm saying? As far as your health, in other words, there's nothing dramatically wrong with you. Are plateaus mostly mental?
Some. They can definitely be physical as well. And in disc golf, here's one of the reasons that I think that we hit plateaus. Will you save that one for a second? Just because I have the answer to that. I just want to remember his name.
Gotcha.
I think we often hit plateaus because we get in the habit of doing the same things, right? So if you've thrown the same way backhand for the longest time and it's effective for you, but it's not as efficient as it could be, then that's your new norm. And it's hard to progress past that unless you're just playing, like you're just hitting everything perfectly. You're playing as well as you can. I would say that's probably where my disc golf form is at, in that I know of a couple changes that I really need to make in order to throw farther and throw more accurately. But when I try to make them, it's so easy to fall back into the habits that you've had before. It's not to say that you're necessarily throwing incorrectly, but what's the phrase? In order to do things other people aren't able to do, you need to be willing to do things they wouldn't do, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not exactly that, but it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You basically need to be able to say, I'm going to commit to changing this, even if it means I get worse, because you don't really get better before you get worse. All right, you're currently throwing 280 feet, and you say, all right, I want to throw 300 feet. The answer isn't to go out and try harder. It's to tweak your form some. It's to get a little bit more acceleration. And more than likely, when you start to do that, you're not going to have the same timing as before. You're not going to have the same consistency as before. So you may throw a little shorter. You may not score as consistently as you wanted to. But in doing that, in teaching yourself the correct form or form that's more efficient for you, once you ingrain that and that becomes your habit, that's what's going to push you past that plateau that you were at before. So I would say be willing to make bigger changes. Do one at a time, by the way. Don't try and scrap your form completely and say, I'm going to do totally new form. Work on one thing with your form at a time. And be aware that you are going to get worse before you get better. but it's worth it if you really want to get better.
Yeah, there is kind of it. I think this is kind of what you're saying, but basically, like a beginner disc golf, and probably is with just about any sport, is that you get so much better faster at the very beginning.
Yes.
In other words, from day 1 to day 12,
whatever.
Yeah, it's so much better, and it's the same kind of thing even with like physical. When you weight train or when you losing weight, you lose weight really fast because you're making these all of a sudden changes. Then all of a sudden you plateau, and you went from losing 2 to 3 pounds a week to maybe a half a pound a week, type thing.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, if you're talking physical exercises, it's as if you go to the gym and you're going to work on your pectoral muscles, right? And you just do barbell bench press every single day. You can increase weight a little bit, but eventually you're going to get to where you kind of just do the same amount every single time. And what it takes to break through that plateau is to do things a little bit differently, to do barbell bench press, to do chest flies, that sort of stuff. I think that's a principle that we need to use in disc golf a little bit more often, to think, if I have done something the same way a bunch of times, what would it look like for me to change it up, just to know if I can or not, just to know if that's going to help me over that plateau. Back to the speak pipe question. Detective Lindahl is on the case.
Nice.
So he said that it was a disc from Infinite Disc VIP Club. I'm glad you caught that. So Barry, Danny said the disc is a metallic opto Trident.
Boom.
So the Trident is, I believe it's a 6-speed. I don't think it should be a 6-speed. I think it should be a 7. But hold, please. Let me get you the flight numbers here. It's a pretty overstable kind of utility driver. The Trident says 6, glide of 4, turn of -0.5, and fade of 3. For most people, practically, that's going to look like 7.304. Like I think it acts a little bit more stable than those flight numbers would indicate.
That's one of the OOPs, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. All right, one last question. This one's from AA Ron from Mass. This is about PDGA membership. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man family. I'm new to the sport, about 6 months. I haven't played any tournaments yet. I was supposed to before the world shut down. Ha ha, he says. But my question is, when should a player get a PDGA membership? Before playing tournaments? After a couple? I never was really sure when. Thanks for all the advice and content, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for the question, AA Ron. I think you should go ahead and get it before you play any tournaments, just so that you have a rating from the very first one. It's probably not going to be the rating you thought it was going to be. More than likely, you're going to score a little bit lower than you had anticipated. But everybody starts somewhere, and being a member has other benefits outside of just at tournaments. But I would say, just before you play your first tournament, a couple weeks before, is a great time to sign up for that.
Cool. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for the Disc Golf Answerman Show. We really appreciate you tuning in during these uncertain times. We're glad that we are able to be a distraction for you just for a little bit while you are at your shelter-in-place, stay at home, or if you are an essential or considered essential and you're having to go to work, make sure you take those extra precautions. Grab you some hand sanitizers. Grab you some wipes. Make sure you're wiping things down. Keep your distance from people. Let's do our part in slowing down the spread, flattening the curve.
And in this time, since, we are being a distraction and you're already listening, just go ahead and go to iTunes. Give us the old 5-star rating, please. We would love to have some more ratings and reviews on there. So
absolutely.
Head over to iTunes. I guess it's podcast, but whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
The Apple podcast, you know what I'm talking about. The one where we always whisper 5 stars. You know what I'm saying.
We'll see you on the next Disc Golf Answer, man. Hang tight, YouTubers. Stopping the recording, making the adjustments, standing up to stretch my glutes.
Hold, please.
Hang tight, YouTube.
Danny said he has the after show. Or, hot take.
Oh, did you get one?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, YouTubers, do you ever drink seltzer water? This isn't really seltzer water. This is what they call sparkling water, but this has 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 caffeine, and 0 sodium. I really like these. This is kind of an off-brand from the Walmarts. You got any suggestions in the YouTube chat? Give me some suggestions on what to drink. I drink a lot of water. I drink my fair share of water, but sometimes I like to have something that's kind of like a soda, but not a soda. I still drink some soda. In fact, the other day I tried some Dr. Pepper creamy Dr. Pepper. It was pretty good. Yeah, he has a can of Coke. He has Coke instead of Dr. Pepper. Isn't that crazy? All right, we're going to try to get Danny and Anthony in here. Hang tight. Danny and Anthony, if you guys are watching, hang tight. We're going to see if we can get this figured out and make sure this works all right. You gotta go outside? When I was off soda, I put lemon juice in water. That woke me up good. Woke you up, huh? Ooh, Robert Ishino, Dr. What scotch? Chaser, LaCroix. I've drank some LaCroix as well. This is kind of an off-brand of LaCroix. It's a little more sweeter than LaCroix, which... It's pronounced LaCroix. LaCroix. So I probably should go back to LaCroix because I have a feeling they probably sneak a little bit of... it says total sugar is 0, but as sweet as it is, I mean, it's got all the little hidden sugars like citric acid.
But we know they lie.
Malic acid and stuff like that. So, but I don't think it's as much as soda. Again, I drink soda, don't get me wrong, but I try to slow down the soda but still want something with a little bit of sweet taste with these little seltzer sparkling waters.
I also drink soda.
Yeah, people said you were cheating on Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this is what's going on with me. You know, we moved to Kansas. I was a 100% dedicated Dr. Pepper, always. And we moved to Kansas, and not everywhere has Dr. Pepper here. So I've had to adapt a little bit. Most places have Coke, so I'll drink Coke there sometimes. So yeah, now I would say I'm a fan of both. Never Mr. Pibb, though. That was a fun commercial.
Yeah. All right. Join and use. Join now. Holy moly. We're trying something new. We're trying Google Meetings. Here we go. There's Annie.
Hello.
Hello. Can you guys hear Anthony okay? Yeah, I'm with you, Daniel. Mr. Pibb is... When I ask if they have Dr. Pepper and they say we have Mr. Pibb, I say, that's cool. Don't ever talk to me again.
Right.
I don't say that, but... Dude,
I do not hear Bobby.
The Pure Cane Dr. Pepper.
You can hear Robert, but you can't hear me?
You're completely quiet for me.
Really? How strange.
Let's see. I'm going to leave him.
Whoa.
Ooh, no thanks on chugging an entire can challenge. How about now, Anthony?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
I still can't hear you.
When you say you, do you mean me or...
I can't hear you. I can see that you're talking.
You can hear me, though, Anthony? Thought he said he could hear me.
I thought so, too. How did we do it before where Danny could actually hear us? We didn't have this.
What if you mute yourself and then unmute it, Bobby? In the call?
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you now.
There we go. All right, cool.
Andy, to your question about how to handle haircuts, dude, I'm scared. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm at the time, like, I'm a few days past where I would like to have gotten my hair cut already. And I texted the guy who cuts my hair. He is cutting people's hair in his home, but I don't know, man.
I'm in the exact same boat as you.
Yeah, and with the same with the same person. Like, yeah.
Yes,
Carlos
it's getting
cuts both of
close,
our
and
hair.
like, it just.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do because the shelter-in-place order in Kansas is supposed to be like till the end of April.
Yeah. I know one thing though, like the second it's lifted and everything's back to normal, I am busting his door down.
Yeah.
That day.
I honestly don't know.
Danny?
I've considered finding whatever mask exists. Because he uses a mask and gloves and everything like that. I've considered using a mask and just being like, look, if I get it, it's worth it because hair. But I don't really know what's
just take it off your ear while he's doing that side, and then quick flip it to the other side.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't really know what I'm going to do just yet.
Still can't hear you,
Danny. You got to mute and unmute yourself. That worked for Bobby.
Now I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Yeah, you're good.
Cheers.
Hey, we out here.
We out here,
Mr. Drew. I will never have a mullet. This is what.
Yeah, Robert, you want me to do it? I used to cut hair.
Doc said, how many super chats for you to shave? Robert said, okay, first of all, Bobby doesn't get to answer that question. I'm in charge of my hair. And the answer is more than you could imagine.
$1,000.
Very many.
More. I'm not cutting my hair for $1,000.
You wouldn't let me cut your hair for $1,000. Not like shave it off, but try to cut it.
Listen.
It would grow back.
Listen. If you're talking that
he would for $1,000.
If you're saying
straight into your pocket, tax free.
Listen. If you're saying that I get to keep the $1,000, $1,000
$1,000 in your pocket, tax free, under the table,
I would consider it. Now,
you would consider it.
Now, I'm not.
I will take that deal every single time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I'm not talking like. Are we talking like buzzing it to like a 1 or a 2? Because I'm not shaving it bald ever.
I'm talking. I would cut. I would watch a YouTube video.
I will look like Bobby tomorrow for $1,000.
Wow.
Dude, Shay just texted me from upstairs because she can hear. She said, all caps, times are tough. Take the dough. She doesn't mean it. That's the problem.
No, she does. She means it.
Doesn't. Okay. Little known.
Yeah, because she included me on the text.
Bobby's on there too. Little known fact, when I was in college, I said, I was trying to save money, so I cut my own hair, and I just buzzed it, down to a 2. And my hair does not look good short. I've got a ridge in the middle of my head, and it's not the worst, but it's certainly not. It's not good. So, all that to say, if we got straight up $1,000 and I knew that here I was going to be handed 10 $100 bills, I would consider it.
You still are a consider.
I said I would consider it.
I know, but I can't believe it's an automatic yes. I would not.
What's the limit where you're like absolutely
me as well?
Absolutely yes.
But
hands down, you're doing it right away. That's
what I'm saying. Yes.
See, this is tough because you say that it's going to grow back. That's true, but this is long,
lost Danny.
Man. Later, Danny.
I'm coming back.
Okay. This is long. This would take more than 6 months to grow back to this length. I'm telling you.
Okay, so that I didn't get to finish how I would do it. I would watch a YouTube video. I would try to get the best. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to get salon grade scissors, but I would find the best kitchen scissors I could find.
Little preschool scissors.
Okay, these are the smallest, so they're intended for small cuts.
The safety plastic scissors. No, I would get some as decent as scissors as I could get, and I would attempt to give you a haircut. Not cut your hair off, but attempt to keep the same style haircut.
I think for $1,000 or more, we got to go you're shaving your face, one of those razors. Buzz it all down, shave it. I want it clean.
Not one chance.
$5,000.
$5,000.
For $5,000, you would go with a 1.
Sure.
Is one? How does it work with guard?
One is what I get on the sides.
Yeah, that's what I usually get to.
So
there's still
would be
hair.
shorter, right?
No.
No, the smaller the number, the shorter.
The way that you shave your head would be 0.
Yeah.
So then 1, 2, 3, and so on.
What number is Gillette? A Schick?
I don't know if there's
0.
I don't know if there's a number for that.
That's what I do.
So anyway,
all right, you back, Danny?
All that to say,
Danny was tired of the hair talk.
I'm trying to turn down the exposure so I'm not the sun.
Oh, hold on, I got
I don't know, guys. Like, here's the deal. It's not that I think like, hey, look, this hair is the best hair that ever existed, and I'll never cut it. It's just that it's the best my hair has looked, and I've had lots of really crappy hairstyles in my life. I mean, these are the facts, okay? I buzzed my head in college. When I was growing up, I had a bowl cut from 2nd grade to 8th grade. I am telling you, because we're here, I don't want to have to think about it anymore. I just want to.
Robert, I'm in the same boat. Like I've had haircuts that weren't great, and I didn't get paid a dime for any of them.
okay, that's fair.
This more than makes up for that. Like, yeah, I might have looked like a dork when I was a child, but I have $1,000 now.
Chaser, how long? Okay, so in the chat, Chaser said for $10,000, Bobby gets to shave CDSB into the back of Robert's head. Chaser, I'm down.
I get to.
How long do I have to keep it? Tell me in the chat how long I have to keep it.
No, for $10,000, that has to be at least a month.
100%. Oh, I would do it for a month.
For $10,000.
Yes.
Cash.
Yes.
Well, not cash, but
100%.
Shroot bucks.
Shroot bucks. What is the value of a shroot buck, you might ask? 1/100th of a cent.
All right, let's get back into the show. So we're going to do hot takes. And Danny, didn't you have hot takes last time?
I did, but I have another one.
Oh, well, I have
because the last one went so smoothly.
If you have one, Bobby, then take it.
Shay just texted us and said, "I 100% mean it." So
let me look at see if my hot take is still good. Don't look at it.
I mean, mine's pretty solid.
Maybe we should do a double hot take since we've got time.
2 times hot takes.
All right, we'll do.
Just say them at the same time as each other.
1, 2, 3.
Mine is more of like a some people will agree with the hot take.
Okay.
If yours is more goofy, it might be.
Mine's not goofy,
different.
but we'll do 2 of them. This will be a special stay-at-home episode of hot takes where we'll do 2 episodes. That way we can put them out.
Captain's got a good idea. We'll tell both, and they can vote on them.
No, because that'll ruin it. All right.
What's hotter?
I'm going to hit what's hotter. Mine's hot. Okay, ready? We're going to hit record.
JL, that's not true. I'm not bougie. And it's not fashion show quality. I just don't want to have to grow it back out again. It's already here.
We back on that again? All right, let's go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do the intro. Hey, everybody. No, I want to do the same as Disc Golf Answerman. Welcome to Disc Golf Hot Takes.
Hot cakes.
Hot cakes and takes. Hot pancakes. Okay, so you guys know the rules. You know how this works. You've listened to the show before. We're just going to jump right into it. Danny is itching at the seams. Okay, maybe not itching, but he's ready.
He's what?
He's scratching.
Wait. He's
bursting at the seams. Is the you just did. Okay, I don't recommend that you watch this movie, but Boondock Saints, there's a bartender who always mixes idioms, and that's exactly what just happened.
I do this all the time. When are you guys going to catch on?
He said, like, one of the ones that they say to make fun of him is people in glass houses sink ships. Like, there you go.
All right. Danny has a hot take he wants to share. Danny, what have you? What say you?
Okay, I think even though I make a lot of content about how to improve form and how to get better at disc golf by changing things, the best way to actually get better at disc golf, and this is something that you'll see among a lot of the top players, is not to actively try and change things, but rather just go play as much disc golf as possible and get better by virtue of just playing a lot of disc golf. I think it's anytime you change something, you're going to set yourself back. And it's much better to just throw as much as possible, let your natural skill come through, rather than trying to force it. If it's, yeah.
So the hot take is don't practice, just get out there and play as much as possible.
Don't try and change anything. Don't think about your reach back or your spin or your grip or anything. Just go throw, and you'll get better by doing that. I'm
in on this hot take. I agree.
And you agree?
I agree.
You think that someone should just go throw, and not change anything?
I'm going to assume a certain level of skill first. I'm going to say that this person needs to have developed some sort of form. At least a little bit. Like I don't think this applies.
That's not true to the take. The true to the take is someone that just started playing one day, went out there and just
No, he said in order to get better. Which means that they've played at least a little before.
Yeah, like I'm saying you never watch any instructional content, never think, oh, I'm going to change my grip, or I'm going to try and lead with my elbow more, or I'm going to try and something like that. Rather than trying to worry about that, just throw as much as possible and let the kinks work itself out.
To me, that means someone's going to have some gifted, blessed with talent, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, not anybody's going to be able to just play, and go pro. I mean, what level are we talking about? You say like go pro, like literally like what, top 25 players out there, 25%?
I mean, someone that you think they're good at disc golf. I mean, you think about I think Bobby Music didn't he grow up like across the street from La Mirada or something like that, and he just plays disc golf all the time, and that's how he got so good. I know I've heard stories of Yuli. He just went across the street and played disc golf until he got better. That's the way a lot of pretty much all of our top pros got better at disc golf, was just by throwing. They didn't watch any instructional content. They didn't worry about any of that. So why should you?
I would have to disagree that they never watched anything. They're probably not a good example for your hot take, because I know that they've watched each other and learned from each other, even though they didn't get to watch YouTube videos, because maybe YouTube wasn't as big of a deal back when they were kids, but they would watch each other. They would watch the top pros at the time, the Climos and the Schultz and things like that. So I bet they got their things to look for and things to change from watching them.
But based on the way that they give clinics and the way that they teach, they don't think about like mechanically what's happening. They just mental things. You're like, you just got to pop it like this, or you're just trying to I was trying to throw that one with a little bit of nose up and a little bit of spin. They don't say, I'm going to tilt my wrist back a little bit more and make sure my hand's a little bit more on the outside and change my grip.
That is true. I've recorded a lot of clinics and a lot of Q&As from our top pros. And there are times when a question is asked and the pro literally will say, wow, I've never really thought about it.
Yep.
I've never broken it down in my mind. I just kind of go.
Yeah, here it is. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here's anecdotal evidence why I think this is correct. You are out at the disc golf course, and say the four of us are playing on a card, and I throw a tee shot, and I'm not very happy with that tee shot, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw another one. Like that was stupid. I was thinking about way too much. I'm just going to throw another one. And nearly always the second shot is better than the first. Like the second, like that's now a saying. I'm sure it has been in disc golf and golf for a while. The second guy is better than the first guy. That's just if you throw another putt, if you throw another upshot, almost always the second one is better than the first one. And I think one of the contributing factors to that is that there is not so much going on mentally. It's just, oh yeah, I'm just going to throw it. Like it's kind of like you say in your mind, oh, screw it. Like I'm just going to throw it. I think that's where you produce your best results, because there isn't so much mentality and so many biomechanical things getting in the way.
Anthony, what do you think?
You haven't said much, Anthony.
I'm frankly pretty upset with Danny here. I feel like this is just a direct hot take at my disc golf career.
Wow, I feel
so
attacked.
yeah. As such, I firmly disagree with this, because I have been playing disc golf for I think this is like 12 years, either 12 or 13, something in there, and I haven't won any world championships. I have not won a sanctioned event. So if the amount of time that you played disc golf just continually got you better at disc golf, I would be winning far more than the zero term. I have been playing disc golf almost as long as Isaiah Esquivel has been alive, and he is incredibly better than me at disc golf. He throws farther than I do. He makes more putts than I do. He's more consistent than I do. Because he plays more, yes, but also because he practices. So the amount of time that you play, no. I think if you play more, you will get better, but you will not get
exponentially better, maybe?
Yeah, the better, more efficient way to get better faster is practicing and actually doing things the proper way.
Now, with that being said, without coming across as an insult, Anthony, this is on a professional level, right? Could we say that Isaiah is more talented in it? Nah, okay.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No.
Okay.
Yes. No. Yeah. Obviously,
you know what I'm saying. I mean,
that definitely has an element to it, but I feel like if I were to put in the amount of time that Isaiah does, and Isaiah were to be like me, where he, just goes out and plays a few tournaments every year, I feel like I could overcome some of that.
Gotcha.
And like he and I might become competitive. So yes, there is a level of like just natural talent that you have to have, but I think you can overcome some of that with working. You're not just gonna. Paul Macbeth isn't Paul Macbeth because he went out and tried really hard to play disc golf well. I can try and throw really far. I'm just going to throw harder, and it's still going to go 400 feet.
But so while you're practicing, you say time practicing.
Mm-hmm.
The argument that I'm making is rather than trying to change something, rather than trying to fix your X step or fix something else, you just throw over and over and over again, and eventually it'll improve. It doesn't like if you play the same amount of disc golf both ways, the person who throws over and over and over again rather than trying to change things is going to be better.
With it.
That's my argument. I'm not arguing practicing versus not practicing.
What about
I'm arguing.
What about the time factor? So if someone's wanting to get better, and they want to, it may take them 6 months to get better if they're just out there they're throwing and throwing and throwing. But if you're out there intentionally practicing, you could almost shorten that time to half, right?
I mean, maybe it depends. It's going to bring you down at the beginning, though, because you have to change something. It's gonna. So
Danny is saying that. If I'm understanding correctly, Danny, it's kind of like you're saying that if you just go out and play a bunch of disc golf, you're constantly going to be getting better. Whereas if you break everything down, change things, you're going to have to get worse. And then, you'll start getting better. But if you just go and play and just hammer out round after round after round, then you're always getting better.
I think it's a waste of time to try and change anything because you're going to get worse. And it's all the best players in the world just went out and threw over and over and over again, and that's
then you just made a bunch of coaches and people that get paid to teach people how to play better. You just put them out of a job.
Yeah, because it's
way to go, Danny.
Because
we're already
because coaching is a sham.
Yeah,
the ability to throw is within your body. It just has to fit your body, right? Most people's disc golf form doesn't look the same. The top pros do not all look the same. They have different body types and different throws. The only way that you work those out truly is by throwing yourself. You can I can go watch somebody else throw all I want to, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be able to throw like them.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll post this in the Facebook group, the Disc Golf Handsome Facebook group, and you guys can debate if you want in the comments. Do you think to practice you should just go out and play and play and play and don't make any changes to your form? And will that allow you to become a better disc golfer? Guys, thanks so much for tuning in.
Hold on. We have another hot take. But also, are you not going to do both?
Well, yeah, but I'm going to end this one.
You're making separate shows.
Correct.
Okay, can we talk for a second about reality?
Sure.
Can I say something for real? I do think there is a having hot takes aside, if you don't change anything, you are not going to improve. These are the facts. However,
exactly.
However, you're going to do what you've always done better.
Yes, that's right, or exactly the same, and like marginally better over time. But I do think there really is a flip side to making too many changes and never grooving your form in. I think there are a lot of people that would classify themselves like form nerds, air quotes, and
or just
what they mean by that though is like, man, I'm always looking at somebody else like, okay, Will Schustrick has his shoulders at this angle, so that's what I'm going to look at, and then Paul Macbeth, he braces like this, like, okay, there's a time to work on your form, and there's a time to just throw with the swing you've got. Like work on it, practice it, but trust what you have instead of going to a tournament round and saying, okay, today I'm going to work on pulling through with my elbow first and hitting that power pocket. I think you can overdo trying to tweak too much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, thinking about it in a tournament is almost always a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
My actual opinion on this is like the players who got good by just throwing over and over again, they did get obviously very good, but that was the long way, right? It took them who knows how long to figure out how to throw nose down. Whereas if you focus on nose down and that's it, you've leapfrogged them by like 3 months. And then once you've taken time to get, and that includes time to like groove it into your form and make it feel natural to where that's part of your natural throw, that you've jumped up time. And let's say the next thing you're working on is rounding. If you fix rounding, and yes, it's going to take time. You can't just know how not to round. You have to put the time in, getting the reps in and fixing it and learning how to throw and making it feel natural. But then all of a sudden you've jumped another 6 months of knowing how to, of changing your form to where you're not rounding anymore. Whereas if you were just throwing over and over again, sure, you'd eventually learn how to not round, but it would take a lot longer.
Right. I mean, I would say, like, go ahead.
There is a limit to it. It's not like you can say, okay, I'm going to fix nose down and rounding and footwork and all of this all at once and jump them by 2 years. That's not going to happen.
Right.
You have to focus on one thing at a time and groove it, like you were saying, and get the reps in. And you absolutely shouldn't be focusing on it during a tournament. Sure. But that's my actual opinion. It's like, yes, you can get better all at once, but the opposite of that is, you can get better over a long period of time, but the opposite of that is not true. Like where you can get better in like 2 weeks if you focused on everything. If you just knew everything about disc golf form, you couldn't be amazing.
Yeah, just being knowledgeable doesn't mean that you're going to be able to execute that.
Yep.
That's one of the things we were talking about on the show is somebody was asking about form, and I said, like, he had reached a plateau. I said, that's kind of the spot that I'm at. Like, I round, not egregiously, but it's something that I've always had a problem with. And especially after I had knee surgery, like that's just how my throw is going to be. It would take forever to uningrain that habit. So I show up with what I got. However, I'm aware that I'm kind of hamstrung by that. Like, I'm not going to be able to throw as far or as accurately as I could if I did break that down. It's just where I'm at. So like I do think you need to understand that there are going to be limitations to whatever form you end up choosing. And if you want to get better, you are going to have to make changes. But eventually, like if you don't do that soon enough, that's just going to become your form. I feel like that's where I'm at. It would take, I don't know how long it would take me to totally get rid of rounding, but a long time. It would hurt. So anyway, I do think it's more important to make changes earlier. And then once you start to feel more confident, ingrain that, and then just work on little things at a time.
That's execution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
All right. That was
think about,
okay.
Sorry. Everybody knows somebody who's been playing forever and is still not super great at disc golf, right? Like, somebody who's out at the course all the time. Okay. No, I mean, like, plays a lot of disc golf, though. Like, there's always somebody who's out at the course who you see them out there every time, and they're always shooting 6 or 7 up. Sometimes they'll crush it and shoot even par. But I don't think that person's getting better just by playing over and over again. Yeah, you can focus on execution at that point, but if your form is not there, that's what's capping you.
Yep. I'm with it.
Cool. All right. This has been Disc Golf Hot Takes / Disc Golf Answer Man. Kind of felt like a mesh there. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one. All right, we ready for the next one, or should we just go to after
passive aggressive about?
That
was a good hot take and good discussion following.
Okay, let's see what our chat people say.
Let's see what yours is, Bobby, first.
Oh, mine's going to be probably silly.
No, we're talking to chat about this one.
No, I want to talk.
Somebody said, like, if you throw 60 feet to the left of the basket and change nothing and throw 50 feet to the right, you'll park it. I disagree. Because if you round and you're throwing nose up and there's a wind and all that stuff and you end up 60 feet to the left of the basket and you change nothing, by virtue of rounding, your throw is not going to be consistent. The nose up is not going to be consistent. Anything is not going to be consistent. So who knows? If you throw the exact same shot, what feels like the exact same shot to you, you might end up 60 feet to the right.
Yep.
So it's at a certain point, yes, but in general, no.
Yeah, these are the facts.
I think our hot take should be what we believe. Not what you don't believe.
No. Because Yeah, because then, like, okay, what if you say something that obviously all of us believe? Then we have to just fabricate that we don't.
Well, but you're fabricating from the get-go.
Joke's on you. Maybe I felt that way this time. Because that's how I've played disc golf for a really long time.
All right, let's move on. All right, we'll do mine, I guess.
All right,
we don't have. Okay, here we go.
Get to recording. Come on, then.
Bonus footage.
Dude, I miss bonus footage, man.
This is a bonus hot takes because we've got time on our hands. And we thought maybe you guys would enjoy some more disc golf content to listen to and enjoy while you're at the stay-at-home sheltered place, whatever they're calling it, in your county. Guys, stay safe out there. We may joke about it, but this is a serious matter. Please stay safe out there, and let's see if we can flatten the curve. All right, so this disc golf hot take is for me, and I liked it so much that I actually put it in my notes. Here it is.
Hold on.
What?
Over under on this is ridiculous. Danny.
100% is ridiculous.
Okay, Anthony.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever yes is.
Okay, all right. So everyone's going over on this one. Here we go.
Oh, okay, here we go. I think we should stop calling disc golf holes. There are no holes in disc golf. We borrow a lot of things from golf, such as par and stroke. Even that's another thing. Why are we calling it a stroke when it's a throw? So we need to figure out a different name and stop saying that's hole 5, hole 6, hole 7. There are literally no holes on a legit disc golf course.
I would like to take a moment to apologize to you. This is a good hot take.
Thank you.
This is a fantastic.
Yes.
This might be the most logical thing Bobby said in a minute.
Since I've known you, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Danny's out. He
can't believe it. He's gone.
Danny took the over, so he's out. I like it.
I refreshed the page because everything's really laggy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you sound computer reliable.
All right, here it is. I don't think we should change it. I like how it is. I know that we've taken some things from golf, like holes specifically, but it's been that for a long time. It'd be like if all of a sudden.
So just because it's been that way, that means we got to keep it?
It'd be like if we started saying, you know what, we've called them discs for too long. Let's call them let's call them arrow circles.
But they are discs.
No, let's call them arrow circles.
They're discs.
Because no, discs are floppy disks. You put them into a computer.
That's DISK.
Nope, it's basically the same. So pretty much. So no, I'm aware that it's spelled that way, 100%. But just because something is aptly named or isn't aptly named doesn't mean that we shouldn't use that. Like everyone, it's a accepted part of disc golf to say this is a disc golf hole. That's
PDGA
what people say.
Changes the rules all the time to keep up with times, to keep up with as the sport is evolving. So as we grow up and become a more mature sport, we need to kind of get rid of some of these. I don't know if nomenclature is the right term, but it pops in my head as far as how we call things. Sure, par, it makes sense. Calling it a disc golf course makes sense, but to keep calling them holes when there literally is not a hole anywhere makes no sense at all.
So, Bobby, what do we call them then? Disc golf spot
targets.
One?
It's your target.
Baskets.
You throw it at it, right? Hole target 1, target 2.
Basket works.
Basket is the best I've heard.
I'm on board for baskets. I am on board for calling holes something else and basket. But the thing is, we're not talking about just the end. We're talking about the whole process there. So if you say, oh, yeah, out on basket 4, that's what I hit the tree and kicked left. You'd be like, what are you doing around the basket kicking trees? You should be, that was off the tee pad. So that's where that comes in. But I am 100% on board for replacing stroke with throw. Not only does it make more sense because we throw the disc, but also if somebody has a rules violation, they're going to get thrown.
You thrown out of here.
You're going to yeet them.
I like Rising M Disc Golf's take on it. He said, my favorite fairway and basket combination on the course is fairway and basket combination 6.
There you go. See?
You're welcome.
Yes.
It's way easier. You get to just say fairway and basket combination instead of hole.
It's just like anything else.
How convenient.
You got to set the precedent and then go from there.
I only think it'll stick if it's one syllable.
Wait.
Yeah, like is
not fairway and basket combination?
A group? Because like, what do you say? Oh, I hit a tree on basket 3 and landed in basket 4's fairway. You'd be like, what?
You would know. Yeah, once it's adopted, then you know what it is. Why? You knew it was introduced to you when you first started playing disc golf, when you had no idea what disc golf was, and someone said hole 5. It was something that your brain said, I know what he's talking about. Your brain didn't say, that makes sense because there's a hole there. No, your brain made sense because the person who knew what they were talking about said that's what it was. So had you had no idea how to explain where you just threw and someone said, this is basket 5, this is where you're throwing, your brain would then say, associate and say, oh, that's what that means. So from now on, that's how I say it. Just like when you're a baby and a baby doesn't know that this is a cup until someone says cup, and every time they refer to it, they say cup, and then the baby's going to look at it and say,
first of all, cup. I disagree that babies refer to everything correctly every time.
I didn't say correctly.
on principle.
I just said from now on, when the word cup is said, that's what the baby is going to associate with it is at a cup. That's why they say that. Yeah.
Someone in chat says in golf, you're not stroking the ball, you're hitting it. So stroke is a term used to represent your swing, just as it represents your throw. I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think stroke is fair because, in basketball they talk about a shooter's stroke or things like that.
I can make the line from that to that, but the line from calling it a disc golf hole, hole 5, hole 6, that's where I cut it off.
So what else do we call it?
I'm flip-flopped with you.
I'm not here to give it the new name. I'm just here to say you can't call it hole anymore. I did half the job. You do the other half.
I told you what you did wrong. I'm not going to tell you how to fix it.
I'm flip-flopped with you on this. I think I would more readily say throw rather than changing the term hole.
Yeah.
Why? Somebody's probably going to fact check me on this.
He literally just explained why, though.
Somebody's going to fact check me on this, but like when I've commentated tournaments before, I think a lot of times I say 2 throws off the lead, 3 throws off the lead. So I think that's part of the nomenclature that's part of the nomenclature that already exists, and I think is more widely accepted. But a hole is a hole.
I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's listed in the rule book too. Penalty throws, not penalty strokes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Fair. Yep.
So yeah, I'm good with calling it throws, but to say like. I like that David's suggestion in the chat. He said par 4.5 on your target place.
And an orangutan through it. No.
Yeah.
Ooh, pin. That's a good one.
Pin.
But that's still.
How is it a pin though?
End.
What's the definition of a pin?
But I mean, think about like that. It's the same in golf. You're playing to the hole, like it's the final destination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Well, if we think of another word that's one syllable and as easy to reference the whole thing rather than just the end, or what if we just added a W in front of it and didn't tell anybody?
Oh, basket? Oh
no!
Oh.
It never fails. Okay. Shay and I were having this conversation the other day when Bobby couldn't get a word out. And Shay said, I think he may do that on purpose sometimes. I said, Shay, I guarantee it's not. It's not. It's just, it happens. It just happens.
I wish it was on purpose.
Me too.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, I'm saying, okay, still refer to the basket as like basket, target, pin, whatever. But as far as the whole thing, call it a hole, like WHOLE.
That still doesn't make sense.
So hole 5 is the hole 5.
Hole 5.
5, fairway 5, and pin 5. It's hole 5.
But you have to say hole.
I cannot live with that compromise.
You gotta say hole.
Yeah.
I can't live with that compromise.
No deal.
Yeah, no deal.
Disagree.
Cut it out. We're not in.
Call them bobs? Someone said call them Bobs. Call them
just as another word. I'm down with it. Bob 4, Bob 5.
Nope. What baskets or I'm out.
Cage. Someone said cage.
Cage 1?
Cage 1?
No. I'm not interested.
No.
All right. So, like I said, we're not here to solve problems. We're here to just
we're here to cause problems.
We're here to cause problems. So, we'll put this in the Facebook Disc Golf Fans Man Facebook group and get your thoughts. Should we stop calling disc golf holes? And if so, if you agree, what would be the new name for it, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in for our disc golf hot takes. I'm gonna go out back and practice on my wasket.
What basket?
What basket?
Oh man!
Mr. Drew's comment.
Excursion number 5. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Drew, that's true.
What?
It would. He
that.
said Disc Golf Answer Man would just be another podcast without having to decipher Bobby speak.
That's actually the reason that Robert was added to the show.
That's right. I'm like the anger translator from Key and Peele, who just stands behind and says what that actually meant.
That was good. That was good stuff.
So funny.
All right, so you guys want to do an after show?
Yeah.
Still? All right.
Sure.
All right. So do you like the topic? I think it's good.
Topic?
Yeah.
I think we should talk about what baskets more.
It takes. Yeah. I sent you on work chat what we were going to talk about.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's not like you got to think on it for hours upon hours.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the aft. Oh no, that's different.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to do a little bit different. Ready? Welcome to the after show.
We out here? No. We in here.
We in here. We are recording this during the shelter-in-place. In fact, for Emporia or Lyon County, just a couple days ago, we had been put on a shelter-in-place order. Hopefully you guys are able to practice your social distancing during this time and you're staying safe out there. And so for the after show, we kind of relax a little bit, just talk about different things that come up. Sometimes it's disc golf, sometimes it's not. But I thought it'd be interesting to talk about unintended things. Consequences?
Not necessarily bad consequences.
No.
They can be good consequences.
Of
just
staying at home and staying isolated. I know a friend of ours or a coworker said that he's lost 8 pounds.
Yep.
Jeez.
From having to stay at home, and he attributed to eating out.
Yeah.
So I know Robert. I don't know if that's too personal. Or?
I mean, I don't want to say how much I weigh, but
okay.
I weigh the least.
Robert has lost 8 pounds.
Since it was not me.
No, it's not Robert, yeah.
A coworker of mine won't say who. No. I was telling Bobby earlier today. I don't. There was a time when I weighed myself every morning. I haven't lately because why? Whatever. All we do is sit inside and work and eat and then work some more. But I weigh less now than I have any other time that I've lived in Emporia. And I think it's just because we are cooking at home pretty much all the time. Like we haven't eaten out in quite a while. And for whatever reason to go along with that, I just haven't eaten that much. Like I'll eat and then we'll be done and it's like, okay, back to work or back to watching Netflix or back to playing Overwatch or whatever it is. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't set out to try and lose weight, but I definitely have. So.
I think it's because it takes time. Like it takes a lot less time to go drive through somewhere than it does to cook and do all that stuff. So it's like, do I really want to eat?
Yeah.
I've noticed that I've
do I really want to eat, or would I rather just use my time to do something else?
Really?
I mean, don't want to eat bad enough to not be lazy. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I've done it to
I'm
where
not that hungry yet.
I've noticed that, obviously the routine's different. Like before, I would get up, do a workout, eat breakfast, or on Tuesday and Thursday sometimes I would fast, and then I would take a break from work, come home, eat, work, and then come home and have dinner. Right. Well, now it's like everything is in one place. So I've skipped lunches or had a early dinner or a late breakfast. So I've only eaten 2 meals. Now I've snacked in between and stuff like that. But it's not as regimented as before. So it's almost like, in a sense, are you eating a little bit less?
I've been doing that a lot with I'll wake up, do whatever in the morning, and then it's like, all right, I got to eat breakfast before I go to work because I'm going to be there for 6 hours.
Right.
And so if I get hungry, I got to eat now. Where now it's like, I'm not really that hungry right now, so I'm not going to eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually I'll just not eat anything until lunch.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed. So I feel like our lunches are getting pushed back later for the most part, especially if we like on the weekends. Shay and I had breakfast at like 10 just because we were doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, I'll have Shay made blueberry muffins. By the way, they were fantastic. But so she made those. So then we weren't hungry again until like 2:30. So then by dinner time, we still weren't that hungry. So we just ate a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's interesting.
Something that I have enjoyed working from home is I'll get up. Now, that's not every morning, but some mornings I'll get up, answer a few emails, get some things squared away as far as what I want to get done. And then I'll do my workout. Then I'll shower. Then I'll get back to work. And it's kind of nice to not, whereas normally I would do my workout, shower, then get to work and get started. But it's kind of nice to be able to break that up during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just have a little bit more flexibility in it.
Any other unintended things happening that you noticed? Changes in your routine or things happening?
My time that I spend wearing pajamas has quintupled.
Yes.
Yeah. Much
Significantly less laundry.
I've started putting on more like clothes that I would wear to the office just so that I feel something.
Some semblance of normalcy.
I am not still currently asleep. I could go to the office right now.
Someone posted a meme of, especially you said you wore. Hopefully, I can find it about wearing your pajamas. Let me see if I can. Something about wearing. You need to every now and then. You need to put on a pair of jeans to make sure all is well. Something. Where is it at?
Just to feel like a person again.
PSA: every few days, try your jeans on just to make sure they still fit. Pajamas will have you believing all is well in the kingdom.
I saw somebody said something along the lines that like his wife was about to put away some pajama bottoms, and he said, "No, don't put those away. Those are sweat bottoms." He said, "No, don't put those away. Those are my dress sweats. I'm wearing those tomorrow.
Wearing that tomorrow."
Yeah. The thing that's been the weirdest for me is I know today is Tuesday because we do Answer Man, but like when Thursday comes, you could tell me it's Wednesday or Saturday, and I'd be like, "Yep, that sounds right."
Yep. Yeah.
It's very weird.
Let us know in the chat below if there's anything you've noticed since the change in routine.
Rising Am said, "I might make a Dimax of Robert's face, but bald. Is that against the guidelines?"
Nope,
absolutely
not at all. If it's an image that you submit, it's an image we will put on. Well, a little bit. Maybe I should step back. Some images we will put on there.
That reminds me of The Office when Michael paints that picture for Jim and Pam. And he makes it one of them. Yeah, he said, "But that one is for me."
Another thing that now this is an unintended, but something I've noticed is that some of my friends that I text every now and then, I've been chatting with them a lot more often. I've been using the app Marco Polo and then switched over to Google Duo. Seems to have a little bit better quality to it. But I've been chatting with some friends a lot more than I used to. Now, my daughters, of course, I keep tabs with them. I chat with them every now and then and text them. But some of my friends, I've noticed I am communicating even more because it's almost like I tell myself, FaceTime somebody, send them a video, somebody, so that you're having some sort of interaction with people.
Yeah,
I think I'm doing less because my routine used to be like I'll get home from work and then it's not quite dinner time yet, so I'll sit down on the couch and that's when I'll get in contact with a few people. But like that time's just not there anymore.
Right.
I'm just done with work and then I'm probably playing video games because it's not that like drive and relax time.
Yeah.
So I haven't been.
I've got some friends from college that like we try to get together once a year. We missed a couple of years ago. We already got together this year, but we did a Zoom call together and just like played poker together and had a good time.
Oh, sick! You played what?
Poker.
Poker.
Yeah, and I mean, like we have the utility to do that anytime, but it's taken quarantine pretty much. I mean, like shelter in place for us to be like, oh, hey, we could do this. So I'm really curious to see what the implications are going to be moving forward, like for businesses, for relationships and stuff like that. I think more people are going to take advantage of the tools that we have. Like I've FaceTimed with more people in the last 3 weeks than I have in like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I had a Zoom. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Anthony.
You said Zoom. Like I talked, my dad's side of the family is huge. My mom's side of the family is just like big. And we talked to my mom's side of the family like last week, and then the other day I talked to my dad's side of the family, and I was like, I'm talking to relatives about life and seeing them, and I haven't seen them in 2 years, 3 years. And it's like, yeah, I could just call them at any time and just be like, hey, what's up? How's life? But no, like, we're talking about kids and what their job is now and all this stuff. And like, it's just weird how, you think like, oh, that's my aunt. But I haven't seen her since 2017.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, we talked yesterday.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Dave?
I have
a say something?
I forgot what it was, and I'm trying to remember it.
Oh, all right.
I have a less exciting one that I hope you can't see, but there are piles of clothes back here. Some of them mine, some of them Madison's, where it's like just being home more. You just, at least for us, like, or me personally, I've noticed like just things feel more cluttered isn't the right word, but it's like I'll open my closet and be like, why do I have this many shirts? Mm-hmm. Do I really need this many pairs of shorts? Yeah. And so it's just like going through and just being like, why do I have this? Why do I have that? Do I need this? Do I need that? Just cleaning up stuff like that. Or like on my desk, there's just things that, there's like a pile of discs that I like to fiddle with and fidget with. It's like, why do I not put those away? Those don't need to be here. If I want to hold a disc, if I need a disc for something, there's plenty behind me. There's more on the wall. Like I can get one. I don't need to just have everything everywhere. So just kind of cleaning things and organizing things a lot more than almost never.
I remembered what the thing was.
What is it, Danny?
Like I think last year at some point, I was making spaghetti, and like I opened the lid to stir it, and of course, right at that time, a block went out and it splattered right on the floor of my kitchen, and I wiped it up then.
Oh,
yeah,
I
got around to
finally have time to clean it up.
See, you guys are joking.
Oh no!
I've swept my floor multiple times. Like I sweep it fairly frequently, but the yesterday I got soapy water and like a brush and scrubbed my whole kitchen floor. And there is no way I would have done that if I hadn't been looking at that spot, because I can just ignore it if I'm just home for a little bit. But now that I'm home all the time, I look at it a lot more, and so it was finally time to clean it up. It's probably been like 9 months, maybe. It's been a hot minute.
That has just been eating you alive because you remember every detail from the story.
Yeah, I know.
I'm making spaghetti. I just opened the jar. It just happened to drop. It's right there. I've seen it every day.
I've had to consciously ignore it for like 9 months.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that.
The nicer weather has made it a little easier, I think, just because in the evenings, like I can't remember if it was last night or the night before, I ate outside. Well, today for lunch, I ate lunch outside. That felt good to be outside in the sun. I was reading my book, and I read my book outside one evening. That's helped because I know even when it was colder, it was a little even more frustrating because it's like, man, I can't even just stand outside, let alone go anywhere. So it's been nice with the warmer weather.
I've noticed that our windows are open all the time now.
Yeah.
Or like at night, we're on an upstairs apartment, so the heat just kind of rises and gets stuck in our apartment. So at night, it can get up to like, if it's 50 outside, it could still be 75 in my apartment with the windows open. But it's like, I don't care. It's fresh air. Like just any amount of it that I can get. Just, yeah.
Now, I know you guys play video games a lot, but have there been any new TV shows that you've discovered other than the Tiger King?
Other than Tiger King?
Yeah. Now, we're on episode 3 on the Tiger King, and it's a very interesting show.
Episode 3 is when it gets nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets nuts.
Yes.
Now, I thought when I first saw some memes on it that I knew about this story, but I had actually listened to a podcast that had, it only had like maybe 4 episodes, so it didn't dive as deep as the show is. But it talked about this particular story, so I kind of knew some of what was going on, but the show is going much more deeper than the podcast did, and it is crazy.
Yes. It keeps going.
What about any binges? Any binges happen with you guys with TV shows or movies? I know a lot of people online are like watching the whole Lord of the Rings series. Some people are doing Star Wars. Of course, The Office and Parks and Rec. I've actually got but season 3 of Ozark came out, and I had watched season 1 and 2, and that show it is a kind of a slow moving show, but I'm already vested into the characters, so I enjoyed watching it. And I just watched episode 3 last night, and it just like went bam. This is what this show's about, and it's gonna be so good.
Okay, good, because like the rest of the world, we watched Tiger King this weekend, finished it. I was like, oh, I just want to find like something else. And I watched the trailer for season 3 of Ozark. I've seen 0 seconds of it, and I was like, that looks like it could be interesting. And then since then, I've seen like Facebook, this person like, oh, Ozark season 3 is so good. Ozark is crazy. Oh, I love this. So I have a feeling that's going to be the next.
So you haven't watched season 1 or 2?
I haven't seen anything. I know that Jason Bateman is in it.
Yes.
And I've seen the trailer for season 3.
Yeah.
And I liked both of those things.
Yeah, you need to watch it. Jason Bateman's he's a good actor. Like I said, it's one of those that really takes time to tell the story. But once you get in and things start really weaving together, it makes for really interesting storytelling.
Yeah. Good.
What about you, Danny?
I've been mainly playing Overwatch and Warzone. I don't really watch as much TV shows lately or movies or stuff. I'll watch like a streamer, but I think I'm looking for content that's more background noise than anything, right? I just want to have something on, not necessarily that I'm actively have to pay attention to watch the story, but I'll just have something on as that I can look over at and understand what's going on, but I don't need context on either side of it. So mainly I've been playing games rather than watching shows.
What's going on in the gaming world? I mean, obviously more people are playing more than they used to, but is there anything going on as far as the gaming world and more people playing?
Warzone has been super popular. It's the Call of Duty Battle Royale. It's been insane. There's so many people playing it. And so that's mainly been what's kind of dominating the space right now. There's a new game coming out called Valorant that looks really interesting, but that's all. It's like news and leaks and stuff about that, so that's really exciting. Animal Crossing just came out that a lot of people are hyped about.
What about Galaga? That's what I played. A lot of people getting hyped on Galaga.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge competitive game. I think a lot of people
and also
are sleeping on it.
Yeah, Dig Dug. I mean, come on.
Asteroids are a good one. Yeah.
Valorant is. They're talking about that like it could be the next CS:GO. Like have that sort of longevity.
What's CS:GO?
I'm not.
Counter-Strike. It's like one of the biggest FPS esports.
The most competitive FPS. Yeah. I think. But like I'm not hugely excited for that because the it seems pretty slow paced. Like I know obviously there's action, but it seems like you're corner peeking and waiting for someone to come around.
Right.
Whereas I like Overwatch because it feels more like you're actively making plays rather than reacting to other people doing things. So I'll definitely try it. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, that's my concern about it anyway.
Yeah.
I've found that I'm like less motivated isn't the right word, but like less enjoying time playing video games because where I have my computer set up and everything is at my gaming station.
Yep.
Like I have my monitors right behind the computer that I work on. And so it's like, man, I love playing video games, but like the last thing I want to do after sitting here for 10 hours a day
is sit here for 5 more hours a day.
Is sit here for another, And it's like, obviously I'm doing different things, but like sitting here, headphones on, talking to people, staring at a screen, I'm still, don't get me wrong, I'm still playing video games and I'm still having fun. But it's not like, oh, I can't wait till everybody drops in Warzone tonight. It's just like, maybe I'll play tomorrow.
Right.
That's a big reason why I made sure that my work computer is out there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have it in the same, like I thought about putting it on the desk back behind me, but I didn't want to have it even in the same room. I wanted it as far away so it's a completely different setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got my stuff here and then Madison's out in the living room with all of her stuff. And so it's like, because she works at a school, so she does a lot of like voice calls and things like that. So we can't really be next to each other in the same area. But I mean, I'm still getting some hours in.
I'm trying to see if Eric Oakley can get on with us. I sent him an invite. I'm not sure it'll work since it's the Google Meetings. So we'll see what he says. But because he obviously tried to call me while we were recording.
Naturally.
Yeah.
He
might not know.
Why wouldn't he?
So anything from the chat room about people talking about things that are happening, being stuck at home?
Dig Dug.
They're
another good one.
That's like the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep people on if there's not anything going on, but I was seeing if Oakley would get on, but apparently, I forgot that everybody can see my screen, so I will stop doing stuff like that. So, all right, cool. All right, any last things, Danny and Anthony?
I'm good.
Cool.
I don't think so.
All right, well, you guys get back to work.
Get back to work.
I gotta go film my part of the video.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Don't say anything about it.
I'm not. I told Robert about it.
Is the other one out?
No, not yet. As soon as I was done here, because somebody had a quick suggestion. You had suggestion on the color. Oh, let me hit stop recording. Let me finish this thing real quick.
Okay.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the after show. We appreciate you. I know we're just kind of rambling, but hopefully it's some good distraction while we're going through these COVID-19 craziness. But again, thanks. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes or Podcast or Stitcher. And if you feel so inclined, give us a rating on iTunes. We love those 5 stars. We'll see you on the next episode. All right, so we're still live, but we're not recording. I guess we'll let people on YouTube see one of our meetings. So, but don't talk about what we're saying.
I think you should add bandpass effect to that one.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, I'm going to go try that.
That's what I use in my In the Bag when Anthony's on the phone, and it makes it sound like it's coming out of a speaker.
Okay, cool.
So
that's what I was going to do. I was going to make that change and then pump it out. And then, do you think it's too late to put it out now?
No,
because it won't make much sense tomorrow because it'll compete with tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go do that, export it, and then I'll go ahead and push it out.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Everyone go to DD's Facebook. Just refresh it for like the next half hour.
Yeah. All right. We'll see.
Oh, hey.
Thanks, Bobby.
I forgot about this. DD Twitch will be up tomorrow if you guys want to join us. I don't know what we're going to play just yet, but we'll play something. That's not good, Anthony.
Dig Dug.
No, it's not ideal.
We'll play something.
Can you hear that?
You can find us on twitch.tv/dynamicdiscs.
See you guys. And YouTubers, we'll see you on the next Disc Golf Answer, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to go produce a video real quick. A new Disc Golf is Life. So make sure you're subscribed here. I'll push it out here and Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see it. Hopefully you guys like it because we had fun putting it together.
Bye.
See you guys.